I will take revenge.
For my father.
What is your name, soldier?
Hua Jun, Commander, son of Hua Zhou.
You will now take the oath of the warrior.
Loyal. Brave. True.
That is a clip from Disney's live-action remake of Mulan. The film's release date has been pushed back a couple times because of the pandemic, but thank goodness it's finally going to roll out next week, and it features, hey, a local guy. Please welcome, I love saying this, St. Paul's own Doua Moua. Hi, Doua.
Hey, how you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Let me just start off with this. Congratulations, my friend. It's finally going to audiences.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So, and it's a perfect film for during this time. So
absolutely. I've been saying everyone's looking for some good escapism, and you can't get better than a Disney film like this. Doua, talk to me about your character in the animated. And I'm a Disney geek, so I've seen them all. Your character in the animated was a little goofy. What's your character like in the live action? Same characteristics?
I feel like it's a little combination both, because again I kind of wanted to pay an homage to the animated character, so but kind of bring a little bit of myself into it as well, and what I experienced while going through this film process. So a lot of the training and wearing the 40-pound armor, and so it's a lot of the movement and kind of whatever I condense it to from the animated into real life. So.
And for people who haven't seen the animated, not familiar, tell the folks who you play and a little bit about how your character fits into the story of Mulan.
Yeah, so I play Qingpo, the peaceful kind of goofy here and there. So for this film, I had to gain 40 pounds to kind of fit the characteristic of the animated film. So he's like the quiet Zen friend of Mulan.
Now, most people would be like, oh, it would be fun putting on weight and just not caring about what you eat. But I've heard from other people who have had to gain weight for roles that they say it's not as fun as you think it is. Was it difficult, and what did you have to do literally?
I mean, it was fun at the beginning, and then towards, when about shooting and training, it gets unfun, if that makes sense.
Yes, oh yeah.
Because you have to eat a certain amount of calories, and then when you go training, you have horseback, you have fight training, and swords, and a lot of weapon usage. And when it comes down to you lose all of that after training, and then you have to eat more calories on top of that, and then it gets to a point where you're just like, oh, how much food do I have to eat? And plus, New Zealand itself, it's a really healthy country, so nothing fried, and not a lot of things are fried or preservative in their food, so it gets tough a little bit.
Doua, was this, depending on what you're auditioning for, sometimes the process can go really well. You walk in, the casting director says, okay, boom, yep, you're perfect, you got it. And sometimes the process is long. I heard the process of getting this role was a little long. Why so?
I think they're trying to find the right Mulan. So I think that's the biggest thing, where, Nikki Caro went through a mass amount of girls that she lived through, and she just keep coming back to Ife. And I think it was conflict of her schedule too. So eventually Ife came along and, decided to play Mulan. And basically from there, everything started kind of lining up and auditioning the boys and all the villains in the film. So that's one of the biggest process. So
we can look at the trailer and see the scale of this movie. What was the first day? What was the first day on the set like? Because all of us watching this, we're never going to be probably on a movie set. Take us to that first day when you walk on the set and maybe you see the hundreds of extras. What was running through your mind when you saw the scale of this production?
First thing came to my mind was like, wow, I'm living a dream,
Yeah.
And being part of history, because Mulan made such an impact back in 1998, and now it's coming live action. And the great thing about this film is, it's a little bit different from the animated film. So it's like just a scale of all the set pieces that they came together you felt like you were actually back in that time. all the armor, all the clothing, and pretty much swords and everything, and horses and fire, and it was raining during the first day we shot, so it literally felt like you were in the trenches.
It's fantastic. Well, we have more with Doua when we come back. As I said, he's a local guy, so where did he grow up? And his story, more with Doua Moua when we return. Back after this, everyone. Stay with us. We are back with Doua Moua, who stars in Disney's live-action remake of Mulan, which is finally going to be hitting streaming on Disney+. Do I mention you're from here? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in the projects, McDonough Homes, and right by the old Kmart on 35 East. So,
did you ever? Was this a dream of yours, Doua? If you could, go back and talk to like 10-year-old Doua, was this a dream of yours? Because you do it all. We're going to talk about a movie that you wrote. Was the film industry something you dreamt of?
Yeah, I started out singing, and eventually I was like, I'm not going to make it as an Asian singer. So I kind of, think to my drama teacher, who kind of keep pushing me to pursue acting, and that kind of led me to, find my niche in acting. So.
And didn't you? Our studios are in Eden Prairie. You went to school around here. You went to school right down the road, didn't you? Yeah,
International School in Minnesota. And so I got full scholarship to go there, and it's a college preparatory school, and it's a little different where you kind of get a different slice of the world from growing up in the projects to international school, where you get a vast of like different international students that goes there, so you learn a lot.
I know it's really important to you for more exposure for Hmong filmmakers in front and behind the scenes. So when you said earlier that Mulan was such a special film, I don't think people realize, especially now that they just kind of take it for granted. Back in '98, it was such a huge deal, right, Doua? Because it was the first time Disney featured a lead that was Asian. It was a giant deal.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just to see ourselves on screen, even in cartoon, was such a big, powerful movement that Disney put together. So it's. And also being a female lead in a cartoon, or even now, is such a powerful message for all the young girls and all the young boys out there. So.
Well, you said it. You want to see yourself reflected back in the entertainment that you watch. Representation is important.
Yeah.
I mentioned you wrote a movie. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's called The Harvest, and we were planning to come to Minnesota and shoot it, but just because of a lot of details, we're moving to Illinois to shoot it. It's a coming of age story, that deals with deals with the Hmong system, as well as the LGBT issues within the Hmong community. So I wrote it because my cousin came out to me, and it's kind of trying to bring that into the element to open up conversation within our own community and just around the world, that this is a matter that we all should be talking about and supportive of it.
Well, Doua, as a creative, as a filmmaker, there's so many more avenues now, and there's so many opportunities, like Disney Plus being a streaming service and YouTube. Filmmakers don't really have to rely on the old system of pitching their movie to a studio, the studio distributes it, it goes to a theater. Now you can put a movie on YouTube and get attention. Do you find it, as a creative, as a filmmaker, is it a really good time to do what you do?
It is, but there's a point where there's two avenues, right? So you want to just share the story, or you want to still hold that the history of what filmmaking is, and go through the process of getting it distributed or getting it made and financed and the whole 9 yards. So it's, for me, I still enjoy getting it distribute, finance, shoot, and get it sold at a film festival, because it's all about an experience. And with that experience, you could literally, motivate the younger generation that it's possible, rather than just putting on YouTube or free platforms where it's just like, oh, anybody could just do that. But like, to kind of strive for more is what my goal is, where it's like, oh, if I can do it, you guys can do it. If you guys just work hard enough and just, put your mind to it,
Yeah, I hope there's a kid watching that feels that way, that sees you and reflected in themselves and thinks, well, you know, my dream's not crazy. Have you seen the last question before we go? Have you seen the movie yet? Did you screen it yet? Has the cast seen it?
I saw it in March when we had the premiere. I was hesitant at watching it, but it's a little weird seeing yourself 40 pounds heavier watching on a big screen. But my parents came to California with my little sister, and I took them to the premiere. And you know, again, it's just to see my parents and how happy they were to see that.
Yeah.
You know, that I was able to pursue my dream and, you know, share it with them. I think that was like the best day of my life, you know, because again, it's you don't see a lot of Hmong people, you know, pursuing this. And, you know, a lot of my parents keep telling me that, you know, it's going to be a hard road because you're Hmong and you're not Chinese or Japanese or Korean, you know, where there's tons of stories for them, but there's no story for you. And I think Disney did a great job of being inclusive of, you know, all the minority group within China, because the Hmong people did come from China. So which I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Your light is going to land on a little kid watching and inspire them to really pursue their dreams. So, Doua, thank you so much. Continued success.
Thank you, guys.
Mulan hits Disney Plus on September 4th.